welcome back to another video, guys. Now, that's right, with the release of the Batman 2022, I thought it was an appropriate time to rank all of the live-action Batman movies I've seen. So I've seen 12 from the 1966 Batman film through the four 80s and 90s films. Then we have, of course, the Christopher Nolan movies. We have the ones featured in the DCEU, so Batman vs Superman and the two Justice League films he appeared in. And then, of course, now we have The Batman. So I'm not including the animated films because I haven't seen half of them, so I thought it was unfair just to include half and then be missing the other half. We're also not going to be having in the Lego Batman movie. But other than that, we've got all the live-action adaptations of Batman here, all of the movies. So I've got 12. We're going to be ranking them from my least favourite to my favourite. Big spoiler warnings. If you haven't seen any of these movies, there's going to be spoilers, including the brand new 2022 The Batman. So if you haven't seen The Batman yet, I'd really recommend that when I get onto that movie, you don't listen to me, because there's going to be spoilers. Also, this is my opinion, guys. I know some people love to remind me that my opinion sucks, but, you know, it is just my opinion. So, hey, at the end of the day, it is what it is. Anyway, let's get started. So, number 12, my least favourite Batman movie, kind of a Batman movie. It is one of the two team-up films. It is Justice League, the 2017 Justice League. So for starters, as a Batman movie, Batman sucks in this film. Ben Affleck didn't want to be there. You can tell his performance is not there. He's overweight compared to what he was meant to. And if you put side by side the Zack Snyder one and this cut of the movie, you can tell that this is a different Ben Affleck. Batman himself sucks in this movie. He's cracking jokes. He's smiling. He's out in the daytime. The film itself is just terrible as well. It's a poorly cut movie. It looks awful. Like, the visuals are crap. Like, Steppenwolf looks garbage. The plot itself is so boringly generic. You can tell that the layers of character development, which you see in the Zack Snyder one, which we will get to, the Snyder cut, all of those layers are stripped out here. These characters are shells. Yeah, it's just an absolutely abysmal movie. It's probably the worst comic book film I've seen, considering this is the Justice League. You know, they're meant to be these incredible characters, incredible superheroes, and quite frankly, everyone sucks in this movie. There's, like, no one's putting in a decent performance. There's so many interesting things left out. You know, J.K. Simmons cast as Commissioner Gordon, barely gets like one line in. Yeah, everything about this film is pretty terrible, to be honest. I really don't have anything nice to say about it. Joss Whedon, you absolutely bottled it, mate. You messed it up. It's a terrible movie. I hate it. Barely any redeeming qualities about it, to be honest. I'm not sure how anyone likes this movie. I said this before the Zack Snyder cut came out. Now we've got the Snyder cut. I really don't see how anyone could defend this movie. It's garbage. I'm going to give it a 1 out of 10. Then, coming in 11th place is Batman and Robin. Yes, I'd rather watch Batman and Robin than the Whedon cut of Justice League. Why? Because, yeah, it's on the same level as bad. And I genuinely mean it. I think they are on the same level as bad, like poor filmmaking. But this film was self-aware of what it was. It was a stupid kids' movie which had been made to sell toys. And I kind of laugh a couple times during this one. I don't laugh during the Joss Whedon Justice League. I do laugh at this one. You know, Arnie, what do I dub the dinosaurs? The Ice Age. Some brilliant one-liners in this movie, which, you know, they're terrible. But they're great. They're great at the same time. It's something truly special, this movie. You know, Batman referencing Superman. So it's like, so Superman existed in this Batman world all along. We got the bat nipples. We got the bat credit card. We got the bat everything in this movie. Yeah, Bane. Bane is ridiculous in this movie. I always forget that Batgirl and Poison Ivy are sort of here because my attention just always goes to Mr. Freeze. Yeah, Robin is awful. I truly, truly despise him in this movie. He's so annoying. George Clooney as well. This film is brilliant. Everyone has such a cool. Even Val Kilmer's I'm Batman was kind of cool. It's just George Clooney going, "Hi, Freeze, I'm Batman." So people must hear George Clooney's Bruce Wayne speak and go, "Oh my god, your voice is exactly the same as Batman's." Yeah, I give it a 2 out of 10. Yeah, it's honestly not like the worst movie I've ever seen, like some people claim. It's still pretty awful though. Okay, next up, coming in 10th place, I watched this film for the first time last night so that I could make this video. I watched Batman from 1966, the very first Batman film, of course, coming off the TV show. Yeah, you know, I know this is a different time. I've got to try and be somewhat kind towards this movie because it was made in the 60s. Comic book movies weren't popular at all. There was, you know, the real interesting gritty comics had yet to kick in, so they were still basing Batman off quite cheesy comics. And to me, Batman isn't a cheesy character at all anymore. But unfortunately, this movie very much foresees him that way, and I'm not sure how they could have got away with a gritty Batman film back then, in all fairness. So, you know, I try to give him a little bit of leeway with this movie. However, at the same time, this isn't a good movie. It's just I don't know, the villains' plots and stuff are just, it's just not good. There's no way in my mind that these villains of Joker, Penguin, Riddler, Catwoman would all be bouncing off each other this much. And you know, it's just like, you know, Batman getting attacked by a shark. Why is the shark attacking Batman? I don't know. Apparently it's something to do with a penguin because, you know, fish and sea and water. And then, you know, pass me down the shark repellent spray can, bat can or something like that. Bat spray, Robin. And then Robin every 5 minutes is going, holy something, holy mackerel, holy this, holy that, holy conundrum. And the acting's just not great. There's a bit where Batman's running around with a bomb above his head as well. A fuse bomb. He's on a pier. Chuck it in the water, man. It goes out, it'll go out. It won't go off. And he looks over the water a couple of times. There's like a little bunch of baby ducks. And it's like, just lob it over the ducks, you know? I'll give it a 3 out of 10. Yeah, it's not a good movie, really. But, you know, try to be a bit kind towards it. And we have Batman Forever. Now, some people actually like this movie a lot. And I think this is what it comes down to. And I'll be fair with this one. It comes down to whether you grew up with it or not. Because I can imagine myself as a kid watching this going, oh my god, this is great. I didn't grow up with these Batman films. I rewatched these films I watched these films for the first time in my life, honestly, about 6-7 years ago. Like the two Keaton ones and this one and Batman and Robin. So I actually watched them quite late and, you know, I must have been like 16 or something when I watched them for the first time. So I didn't grow up with this film. So that's why I probably don't like it as much as some people. So that's me being fair with that movie. You know, I get why some people love it. If you grew up with it, fair play to you. As I say, I didn't grow up with it, so I'm not a fan of this movie at all. Jim Carrey is not a good Riddler. For this movie, I suppose he's good as the Riddler. His Riddler, but, you know, a serious Riddler wouldn't have fitted this movie at all. So I suppose for this movie, he's alright, but overall, he's not a good version of this awesome comic book character. Tommy Lee Jones is pretty miscast, I think, and pretty wasted. He's an amazing actor. I really think he would have been better in a more, you know, like maybe Commissioner Gordon type role. Val Kilmer's alright, but yeah, this film just, I never really want to go back to it much. It just really doesn't do anything for me. I don't think it's a very good film. I'm not a fan on the way it looks, and you can tell the direction they were going in here, making it a lot more kiddified and stuff, which is fine. It sold a lot of toys, but yeah, this film doesn't do loads for me. I'll give it a 4 out of 10. Then here we have Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. Now, I will say one thing about Ben Affleck's Batman. He looks the part so well. Like, he looks like Batman come off the comic books, put into live action. He's built and sort of just, you know, facial sculpt and stuff. He just looks like Bruce Wayne Batman to me. However, this film, while Ben Affleck gives a great performance, and the Batman scenes when he's fighting are really cool, the film itself is just so boring. It is so dry, and there's so many plot holes in it. The film thinks it's more intelligent than it actually is. It's really not that smart of a movie. There's so many plot holes and so many stupid bits in it. Yeah, the film is taking itself so seriously. Poor Superman, you know, Henry Cavill, again, really well cast. He was great in Man of Steel. I liked Man of Steel. Here, they've made Superman so much drier and more boring than he was in the first film. Jesse Eisenberg, terrible as Lex Luthor, terrible. Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman. I'm not a big fan on Gal Gadot in general, if I'm being honest. I don't think she's a great actress. And on top of it, her appearance at the end just felt so forced, as did the tease of the Justice League. Genuinely, the only thing I do really enjoy about this movie is visually, the way it looks. Zack Snyder's style I really like. And Ben Affleck's Batman. So the Batman parts were pretty cool. The movie itself, I have a bit of respect for it, but wow, such an underwhelming movie. I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 10. Okay, then we have, coming in 7th place, Batman Returns. So yeah, again, this one here, I remember enjoying a lot when I first watched it about 5-6 years ago, whatever. I actually quite enjoyed Danny DeVito's Penguin, even though it was cheesy as hell. And, you know, I prefer Batman being a bit darker. I think I'm making that pretty clear. Michelle Pfeiffer was pretty good in this film as well. Always forget Christoph Waltz was in this as well. And, you know, Michael Keaton, we got to talk about Michael Keaton a bit here because, you know, his Batman is iconic and he's really great in the role. I think he's great as Bruce Wayne. I definitely think his Batman could be a bit more intimidating. It still cracks me up that he can't turn his neck. And I know a lot of Batmans couldn't, but it's the way he sort of just always shifts his whole body about. Like it cracks me up. It cracks me up when I'm watching it. But yeah, everything's good in this movie. It's just, you know, it's typical Tim Burton where it's really cheesy, really over the top. Like, the Penguin doesn't, like, I know in some comics he's had, like, actual penguins there, but it's like, really, is this the direction? You know, there's so many other versions of the Penguin that we could go with, and this is the one we're going with. Okay. But yeah, you know, I don't, this movie's just alright for me, you know, it is what it is. It's a fun time. Yeah, it's typical Tim Burton. Not really my style too much, but it is what it is. Give it a 6 out of 10. Then, coming in 6th place is going to be Batman 1989. Yeah, I think a lot of people have this higher, again, those who've grown up with it. I didn't. But this is a really good movie at times. Jack Nicholson as the Joker is really great. And again, Michael Keaton is the first time we've seen him, also really good. The score to this film is really great. And I do like the look and feel of this movie. Like, Gotham feels very Gotham-y. Whereas a lot of the other movies we've talked about so far, Gotham either sort of feels like a real city or it feels way too cheesy. After the brand new Batman film, I think this is the best sort of Gotham we've had. It really just it feels dirty and horrible, and a city out of a comic book. There are some things that, though, I'm just not a huge fan on in this film. I think that the script is a bit meh. I think the pacing isn't great. And I don't think Batman himself is great in this. Like, at the end when he walks into the church or whatever it is to get the Joker after he's taken the girl in the movie. It's like he just stumbles in, knocks over all the chairs. That's the Joker now. He's right behind him. Takes him he can't even catch up with the Joker. It takes him ages to get up the stairs. And then when he gets up there, he more or less loses every fight till the last second that he gets into. So, yeah. I know this is a product of its time, a bit like the 66 one, and I get that. But yeah, I didn't grow up with this movie, so I kind of look at it for what it is. And yeah, I like it, but don't love it. I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10. Then we have, coming in 5th place, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Yeah, we all remember when this movie was coming out. I thought it was going to be terrible. I'm not a huge Zack Snyder fan. I hated the first Justice League, so I was really ready to hate this movie, to be honest. But anyway, come out, and what the hell, I really enjoyed it. Yeah, it could be trimmed down probably 20 minutes, half an hour. I'll give it that. But other than that, I thought it was great because it really felt like this epic comic book Justice League team-up movie come off the pages of a comic and put onto screen. All these characters actually had layers to them. Batman felt like Batman. He was more serious and he was the leader of the Justice League. And, you know, it was just, like, everything was just so much better. The villain's plan made more sense. It was more, you know, it was just all written a lot better. It made a lot more sense. The pacing was surprisingly good. It felt like there were stakes. There were a couple emotional moments to this movie. And the first film had none of that. Even Ezra Miller wasn't near as bad in this one. Steppenwolf looks so much better. Also, the score was pretty damn good to this movie as well. There were a lot more risks in this film, which paid off. I really enjoyed what they'd done. Visually, it was just so much better looking. Yeah, I really like this film. I just wish they wouldn't play Wonder Woman's score every 5 seconds whenever she's on screen. But I'm going to give this film a 7.5 out of 10. I really liked it. Coming in 4th place is going to be The Dark Knight Rises. So yeah, I actually rewatched the whole Dark Knight trilogy before the new Batman film. I know they're not linked, I just sort of thought I would, because I haven't watched them in a while. This is a really good movie, but this one has a few problems. I don't have near as many problems with Begins or The Dark Knight, but this is the only one where I can go, it's not perfect. And you know, the things that aren't perfect, first off, I think the back half of the film where they're meant to be stuck in Gotham for a few months, it really doesn't come across that way. It honestly seems like a week or so. I love the fact that it's like no one could get in and out of this city, but somehow Batman just rocks up in there. I don't think they've done a great job at taking Bruce Wayne out of Batman suit, making him earn it back. I actually think Iron Man 3 did a better job than Rises in terms of taking Tony Stark out of the Iron Man suit and making him earn it back. But yeah, that's sort of my nitpicks with it. Overall, though, it's still a good movie. It's shot brilliantly. Bane is actually a really good villain. I really like him, even though it's a bit hard to take serious sometimes, but I really do still enjoy him. Tom Hardy gives a good effort. Bale's suit is great. Visually, it's a stunning movie. Yeah, I'll say this, though, but this goes for all 3 of the Nolan films. The sound mixing is bloody atrocious, and I hate it. Like, honestly. But this happens with nearly every Nolan film. He needs new sound mixers, damn it. It's getting worse. Tenet was the worst one. But anyway, Dark Knight Rises, I'll give an 8 out of 10 to. Coming in 3rd place is going to be Batman Begins, the first of the Nolan films. And actually, I will say this. When I was talking about Gotham earlier, this movie here, it really sort of feels like Gotham as well. In the other 2 Nolan films, you know, I think he just filmed most of it. It's just New York, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, this one here feels like Gotham, which is really, really cool. And it's a really good origin story, I've got to say, for a character. Christian Bale in the role, he's really good. He's not my favourite Bruce Wayne / Batman, but he's up there. He's really good in the role. Liam Neeson as Ra's al Ghul is fantastic. I really love Cillian Murphy in this, playing Scarecrow. Scarecrow looks great. And yeah, it's just your classic Batman. You know, we've got to take down Falcone, and then you've got some other couple villains rocking about. And all round it is just really good casting for the most part, other than the actress who played Rachel. I didn't think she was great in this movie. But other than that, it was really good. The stakes felt high. Visually, it was great. Yeah, I really just... It's a really good movie. Again, Hans Zimmer's score is great. The only complaint I really have with this film is the sound mixing is terrible again. But I'm going to give this film an 8.5 out of 10. I think it's really good. So, we're down to the 2 obvious ones. We have the new Batman film and The Dark Knight, which I think are without a doubt the best 2. And I think most people will be saying this till the end of time. It's just, which one do you personally prefer? The Batman is still very fresh, very new, so I'm trying to be open-minded here in thinking, what one am I going to come back to the most in years to come? And that's why I've put The Batman in 2nd place. So yeah, The Batman. I think this is the most comic-accurate Batman we've had. I'll say that straight off the bat. Like Gotham, this is the most realistic Gotham without a doubt. I love how dirty and grim it looks. Robert Pattinson as well is so good in this role that he takes the Batman home with him. He wants to be the Batman. And when you see him as Bruce Wayne in this movie, he is a messed up guy. And you need to be a messed up guy to put on a bat suit and go out and beat up criminals. I think he does that so well. It's great to see some fresh villains that we haven't seen in years, or we haven't seen serious versions of these villains in movies before. The Riddler and the Penguin, we have not seen serious versions of these villains in movies, so that's great to finally get that. Catwoman's in this as well, which is fantastic. She's really great. Zoe Chavez or something like that. Fantastic in the role. Everyone is so perfectly cast in this film. Everyone does an incredible job. There's no one underperforming in this movie. Everyone puts in 110% and it's brilliant. Matt Reeves does a fantastic job. The cinematography is gorgeous. The score is incredible. This film does not need to be trimmed down. I've seen some people saying that. It does not. People are saying it's slow. Yeah, it is slow, but I think it works so well. Batman is a detective. He's the world's greatest detective. Here we get to see him be a detective. We're not going to get action scenes every 5 minutes. I think it works brilliantly. Yeah, I really don't have any complaints to this film, to be honest. I think it's bloody incredible. It's the best comic book film I've seen, definitely since Endgame, and it might even be, I might even say I like it more than Endgame, to be honest. I need to see it again, to be honest, but I love the film. I genuinely don't think my opinion is going to change on that with a second, third, 10th viewing. I really, truly think this is a marvellous, incredible movie. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. But, coming in first place, I am going to go with The Dark Knight, because, yeah, I mean, when did this film come out? Was it 2008, 2009? I can't even remember off the top of my head. I rewatch this film once a year and stuff, and every time I put it on, I'm like, yeah, this film's freaking awesome. Let's not talk about Heath Ledger for a minute. Let's look at everything else. I think the story itself is just incredibly intelligent. I love all of the other villains that are sort of rocking about, all these mob bosses and stuff. It is very much about clearing up the city with these remaining mob bosses, which I think is really, really clever. It's about sort of like their final takedown. And then, of course, Joker comes in and sort of ruins it for Batman. And I think the story just progresses in a really interesting way. There's loads of layers to it. There's loads of different bits and pieces to the puzzle here, which all kind of come together. It feels like there's a lot on stake. Because there's a lot of characters that sort of die, important figures in this version of Gotham that die. The film takes risks, killing off Rachel halfway through, I think. Pretty big, impactful death there, and it works so well. Two-Face is seriously underrated. I know that Heath Ledger's Joker is just beyond incredible. It's without a doubt the best thing of any of these movies we're going to talk about. But Two-Face is also really great. He deserves more love and attention. Gary Oldman's incredible in this film as well, got to add. And again, Hans Zimmer's score's fantastic. But, you know, Heath Ledger, wow. Woo-hoo. What a performance. One of the best performances ever. Probably in my top 5 performances. Heath Ledger made the Joker his own. And it was just fantastic. And this version of the Joker is probably my second favourite movie villain of all time. He's incredible. Now, the only reason I'm not going to give this film a 10, I've got two nitpicks with this movie. Once again, the sound mixing. Crap. I know that this doesn't bother some people, but like the other night, I was trying to watch it in bed while my parents are trying to sleep next door. I had to keep turning it down and then turning it back up. It was a bloody nightmare. And second off, Gotham, it just doesn't feel like Gotham. It just feels like New York. And I get that's the approach they're going for, but as a Batman film, I wish it felt a little bit more like the comic book city, not just New York. But anyway, I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10 because it is damn near perfection. Not quite perfection, but it's bloody close. So there we go. There is my Batman ranking. Guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Just remember at the end of the day, that's my opinion. All those things I said. If you hate me for saying something, it's my opinion. It's not fact. But anyway, let me know your ranking down below. If you want to include some of the animated films, please do. And yeah, thank you so much for watching as always, guys. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like the video, leave a message. And as always, I'll see you next time for another video. Bye-bye.